Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving deep into one of the most pressing crises facing our world, the severe drought that has gripped Tehran, leaving millions without access to water. This is not just a story of parched land and empty reservoirs. It is a human story, an environmental warning, and a stark glimpse into the future if climate issues continue unchecked. Over the last few years, Tehran has faced record-breaking heat waves, declining rainfall, and rapidly depleting water resources. What was once a city with reliable water supply has now become a place where people ration every drop. The impact is widespread, touching every part of daily life. Families wake up to empty taps. Schools have limited water access, and hospitals struggle to maintain hygiene and provide essential services. Farmers who have relied on local rivers and wells for generations now watch their fields turn brown and barren. Crops fail, livestock suffer, and local economies falter. The social consequences are as severe as the environmental ones. Food shortages, rising prices, and migration from rural areas into already crowded cities have created tensions and increased pressure on public infrastructure. Experts warn that this is not a temporary problem. Climate models show that Tehran and other parts of Iran are likely to face prolonged dry spells in the coming decades. Water scarcity is no longer a seasonal challenge. It is becoming a permanent condition for millions. The government has attempted to mitigate the crisis through measures such as limiting water use, constructing desalination plants, and encouraging conservation. Yet, these efforts are struggling to keep pace with the growing demand and shrinking supply. At the heart of Tehran's water crisis is a combination of factors. Reduced rainfall is an obvious one, but it is compounded by inefficient water management, outdated infrastructure, and overuse of groundwater. Many of Tehran's wells are drying up, and pumping water from deep underground has long-term consequences, including land subsidence and ecological damage. Rivers that once nourished communities are now barely flowing, and reservoirs that should provide backup are dangerously low. This means that even small mistakes in water management can have cascading effects. The human toll of this drought is staggering. People are forced to collect water from distant sources, often waiting in long lines for hours. Children who should spend their days in school or play are now helping families secure basic necessities. Health risks are rising due to poor sanitation and limited access to clean drinking water. Waterborne diseases are on the rise, and hospitals are stretched thin trying to cope with preventable illnesses. This crisis has also amplified social inequalities. Wealthier households can afford to buy water or install storage systems, while poorer families are left vulnerable. Environmental scientists emphasize that Tehran's situation is a warning for the rest of the world. Droughts are expected to become more frequent and intense due to global climate change. Urban populations, especially in arid regions, are particularly vulnerable. Tehran's experience shows that rapid urbanization without sustainable water planning can lead to catastrophic consequences. Every aspect of daily life is affected. From cooking and cleaning to agriculture and industry, water scarcity is reshaping how people live, work, and think about the future. One of the most visible signs of the crisis is the shrinking of local water bodies. Lakes and reservoirs that were once central to Tehran's water supply are now reduced to mudflats. Satellite images show alarming drops in water levels across the region. This not only affects water availability, but also disrupts local ecosystems. Birds, fish, and other wildlife struggle to survive, creating a ripple effect across the environment. Loss of greenery and forested areas further exacerbates the heat, creating an even harsher climate in already vulnerable areas. Despite the severity of the crisis, the people of Tehran are showing resilience. Communities are coming together to share water resources, implement small-scale water-saving projects, and raise awareness about conservation. Citizens have embraced water-saving technologies and adapted their daily routines to reduce wastage. Schools teach children the importance of careful water use, and local organizations organize campaigns to restore rivers and protect wetlands. However, these efforts, while commendable, cannot replace large-scale solutions. Policy experts argue that Tehran needs a long-term, integrated water management plan. This includes modernizing infrastructure, investing in sustainable water sources, and enforcing regulations on usage. Smart irrigation systems, rainwater harvesting, and desalination projects are some solutions being explored. But political will and public cooperation are essential. Without coordinated action, the city will continue to face severe water shortages, with growing humanitarian and environmental costs. Another challenge is population growth. Tehran's population has increased rapidly over the past decades, placing enormous pressure on already limited water resources. The city is home to over 9 million people, with millions more commuting daily for work and education. Managing water for such a large urban population is extremely difficult, especially when natural sources are dwindling. Every household, business, and farm depends on the same shrinking supply, making competition for water fierce and tensions high. Water scarcity also has economic consequences. Agriculture, which employs a significant portion of the population, suffers huge losses due to drought. Reduced crop yields lead to higher food prices, affecting both urban and rural communities. Industries that rely on water, from food processing to textiles, face operational challenges. This slows economic growth and increases unemployment, further deepening social stress. The economic ripple effect of water shortages is felt across the entire nation. The psychological impact of drought should not be underestimated. Living under constant water stress leads to anxiety, stress, and social unrest. People worry about the future, about the health of their children, and about maintaining their livelihoods. In Tehran, these concerns are very real and growing daily. Access to water is no longer just a matter of convenience. It is a matter of survival, dignity, and human rights. Experts emphasize that addressing Tehran's water crisis requires more than emergency measures. While distributing bottled water or installing temporary pipelines provides relief, it does not solve the underlying problem. A sustainable approach must focus on both supply and demand. Protecting natural water sources, improving water use efficiency, reducing leakage, and promoting conservation are all critical components of long-term strategy. Education and public awareness play an equally important role. International experience shows that drought management requires careful planning and collaboration. Cities around the world facing similar challenges have implemented successful strategies, including strict water regulations, technological innovation, and citizen engagement. Tehran can learn from these examples while tailoring solutions to local conditions. Cooperation between government agencies, NGOs, scientists, and citizens is key to creating resilient urban water systems. Climate change remains the ultimate threat. Rising temperatures, shifting rainfall patterns, and more frequent heat waves are transforming the hydrological cycle. Water scarcity is no longer just a regional problem. It is a global one. Tehran is one of many cities facing this reality. and its experience underscores the urgent need for climate action. Reducing greenhouse gas emissions, protecting natural ecosystems, and preparing for extreme weather events are critical steps to prevent future crises. Community initiatives are making a difference. Rooftop rainwater collection, wastewater recycling, and water-efficient gardening are becoming more common in Tehran. These small but meaningful efforts help reduce pressure on central water systems. Public engagement and behavioral change are essential, but scaling these solutions requires government support and infrastructure investment. People alone cannot solve a systemic problem of this magnitude. Technology also has a role to play. Advanced monitoring systems can track water usage, detect leaks, and optimize distribution. Smart meters and automated irrigation systems help households and farmers use water more efficiently. Remote sensing and satellite data allow authorities to monitor reservoir levels, rainfall patterns, and groundwater depletion in real time. These tools enable better decision-making and proactive management, reducing the risk of crisis. The drought in Tehran also raises ethical questions. Water is a fundamental human right, yet millions are denied access. Inequalities in distribution, lack of infrastructure in poorer neighborhoods, and unregulated water markets exacerbate suffering. Addressing these ethical and social dimensions is as important as technical solutions. Ensuring fair access to water for all citizens is essential to maintaining social stability and trust. Public health concerns are mounting. Limited water supply affects hygiene, sanitation, and nutrition. Hospitals struggle to maintain operations, and communities face outbreaks of preventable diseases. Water stress also affects mental health. As families cope with uncertainty and scarcity, the long-term health consequences of prolonged drought are profound and will require significant investment in medical and social support services. Experts warn that Tehran is not alone. Cities across the Middle East, North Africa, and Central Asia are facing similar challenges. Over-extraction of groundwater, overpopulation, and climate change are creating water crises in urban areas across the globe. Tehran's situation is a cautionary tale, highlighting the need for proactive measures and urgent investment in sustainable water management. Political factors also influence water management. Coordination between local, regional, and national authorities is crucial. Policy consistency, long-term planning, and transparent governance are necessary to prevent mismanagement and corruption from worsening the crisis. Public trust in government actions is essential for effective water conservation and crisis response. Education plays a central role. Informing citizens about water scarcity, conservation methods, and the impacts of climate change helps foster responsible behavior. Schools, media campaigns, and community programs are vital in building awareness. Young generations need to understand that every drop counts, and that their actions today will shape the water security of tomorrow. The environmental consequences of water scarcity are far-reaching. Dry rivers, shrinking wetlands, and reduced vegetation contribute to desertification. Loss of biodiversity, soil degradation, and rising temperatures create feedback loops that worsen the climate crisis. Protecting natural ecosystems is as important as managing urban water supplies. Healthy rivers, lakes, and wetlands act as buffers, storing water and supporting human and wildlife populations alike. Tehran's drought is also a story of resilience and adaptation. Citizens, scientists, and policymakers are working together to find solutions. From modern infrastructure projects to grassroots conservation initiatives, there is hope that the city can navigate this crisis. However, the urgency cannot be overstated. Every year of delay increases the human, economic, and environmental toll. In conclusion, Tehran's water crisis is a stark reminder of our collective vulnerability. Millions of lives are affected, ecosystems are under strain, and the city faces an uncertain future. Addressing this crisis requires a combination of immediate relief, long-term planning, technological innovation, and public engagement. It also calls for urgent climate action, equitable resource management, and ethical governance. The story of Tehran is both a warning and an opportunity, a chance to rethink how we value, manage, and protect our most essential resource. The choices made today will determine whether Tehran's residents face continued scarcity or a sustainable future. Every drop saved, every policy implemented, and every citizen engaged contributes to resilience. While the challenges are immense, coordinated action, innovation, and community effort can make a difference. The time to act is now.